Hello, my viewers. Welcome back to Time with Hammer. This lady was born and raised in Siberia, lived in America, traveled wide, came to Ghana a few months ago, and did some wonders. She's here once again to tell us more about the Freedom Swim. The name is Milana May. Before I introduce her, I want to say a big thank you to some people who supported us during the Freedom Swim. I have with me Kaiser Apple, producers of Perla Mineral Water. I want to say a big thank you to you, and we hope and pray a long-lasting relationship with you guys. Milana, welcome back to my show.
Hi, Hammer. We're back here again. Time with Hammer.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
How have you been?
This is crazy question. This is the most difficult question I've ever been asked.
Your health?
I mean, the recovery process from the waves that have been generated has been more than intense. Yeah. You know, I kind of mentioned to you briefly that I almost died. You know?
I know about it. So.
Yeah, so you heard the stories. Yeah. I didn't die from the lake.
Yeah.
But it was something completely different. That had occurred with actual physical real waves. You know, we'll talk about it later.
Yes. Okay, now the last time we met, we talked about how you were raised up, why you came to the lake, why you wanted to swim the lake, and all that. The whole world saw you swimming. The whole world saw you performing some rituals, or let's say the ceremony before the swim. From ABONO to ANKAASE, from ANKAASE to ABONO. We saw two different activities before you started the journey. In brief, why did you do that?
Why or what did I do?
Why did you do that? Why
okay, first why. Yeah, first why. Well, so just in general, before I do anything in life, I do my absolute best to put consciousness before the action. So, you know, in my language, it's called intent.
Okay.
Not even intention, but it's intent. Just, my father taught me this.
Right.
You know, now my father is
No
everywhere. No more, but everywhere.
It's
you know, it's right here in this water. Let me drink. So
you're drinking your dad.
In the water, right? So, like, intent before drinking this water, let's say, for example, could be to connect with the energy of my father, or to hydrate my body, you know, or things like that. So there was an intent. The more we put into the intent, the more we get out from the action. So, as an example, now that we're talking, one of the parts of the event was me lighting up the fire, the bonfire of truth, freedom, and love at the very end of the event. Nobody knows this except the people that watched me do it the night before. Some of the people that stayed at Paradise Resort seen me do it. For about 2 hours or so, I spent time around the bonfire, around the logs, because they were already set up, everything was already set up, to put the energy and intent into the fire. So once the fire has been lit up, it wasn't just a regular fire that you light up, you know, but there was so much energy already into it. So same thing was, I mean, this swim is massive. It involved, this is no longer about Milana May. You know, you understand, this is about everybody else that are around. Now, I'm responsible for so many energies, people, lives, all of that. Even though, yes, everyone is responsible for themselves, but from my perspective of how I live in general, I am now responsible as well. So before I'm going to go ahead and do such activity, how can I just go and do it without making sure that the intent is clear and it's pure, and it's powerful, and it's smooth. These was very important things to do. Those ceremonies were essential. Without those ceremonies, I don't even know if none of this.
Okay, so let's go into details.
Yeah.
I realized that the chiefs, they did their bits, as in blessing you before you take the journey.
Yeah.
You swim the lake.
Yeah.
But I saw you with cocoa, flowers, and water.
Yes.
And you were showing them what they should do for you before you take the journey. That was where I want to. I'm curious.
I brought cocoa beans from one of the cocoa farmers here on the lake. I'm going to give cocoa beans to all of you so that you can make a wish on each of these beans. And I'm going to pass a microphone to each of you so you can voice what wishes you make. When I go to the lake, I remember all of the wishes that were made. And about every 20 to 30 minutes, I'm going to drop one cocoa bean to the bottom of the lake and ask the prayer for that wish to manifest. Thank you so much for your contributions.
People that were selected to perform this, they weren't selected by me, they were selected by the universe.
But you brought the items.
Of course.
And you were telling them how they should go about it. That's what I saw.
Well, that's what's interesting is that you saw that, right? But then you may ask somebody else and somebody says, no, I saw that the items.
Osoro, I'm found. Media, Professor, would you maybe ask in the Huno?
I'm told yet. I'm dinner penny. I need them dinner. Every cocoa, quite over quite big, son. And now I need some number. Yes, and worry. And won't be a dear friend. I know Pastor Yasas is trying to worry at Kakawa. Yes, going to be up. Won't copy you. You're the man. No, I don't remember my number. Son, you put anything. Is you?
Of the entire event and the communities. So that was the consciousness of all of this undertaking all together, not just the body, but everything around it. It also included even the equipment, the boats themselves. You know, we want to make sure that the boat makes it, right? That it doesn't stop in the middle of the lake. You know, and Nana David, him and I have this long time connection with David. You know, I have Davids in my life. I don't know, everywhere I go, I always have David in my life. So I was like, well, David is the right person to make sure that the physical body is intact. and then Nana Apia. Everything was thoroughly thought, you know, it wasn't just random, you know, so there was lots of consciousness placed into it, and you know, everybody had, it was a mutual agreement between everyone that this is how we're going to proceed and it's the best for.
I want us to take this opportunity to also say a big thank you to ABONO community, ANKAASE community, the chiefs involved, the guys involved.
In ANKAASE is Nana Takrabonsra, yes. You know, in Paradise Resort in ABONO.
I remember a week before the ceremony, we went to see the chief for his blessings, and you know what we intended to use the funds that we'll get from the
100%, 100%
for the education
profits are going to education project.
Yeah. And also to say a big thank you to Paradise Resort. They supported us, and I will say a big thanks to Dr. Akwako, Auntie Tina, and
Jackson, yes, the manager.
And who else we want to say a big thank you to?
You mean in Paradise?
The whole project. I mean, let's appreciate what they did for us.
Hammer.
And the whole Hammer crew. DKC, Pablo.
Your wife Olivia.
Yeah, Transformation
Salon.
Yeah.
Bisland Foundation. There's so many. So. Giza Clothing, Darlington, yes, yeah. Nathaniel and Gaius,
okay.
My guys that, we designed, I mean, everything, like people don't even realize, but all of this is my clothing brand, Giza. Everything I'm wearing, during the event, all of this was
Let's come to your clothing lines. I mean, the things you put on yourself. If you go to TikTok, many people were commenting and they were talking about your dress code, the snake behind you, the swimsuit. Why did you choose this colors or this design?
Well, so there's so much goes into, I mean, I don't even know where to start. So, I mean, this color, well, first of all, this pattern of a color of teal and peach in its own, just what it is, it's very much the pattern of the ocean, the tropical pattern, because the teal is the color of the sea, of the ocean, of the water, sea life.
Okay.
And then, it was interesting, it's not blue, but it's this teal, which is the mix of green and blue. It's that color that's between, that connects the green of the earth and the depth of the blue water. That's why, how you look at the ocean, when it's very deep, it's blue,
yeah.
But then closer to the shore, it's this green.
I thought it was a reflection of the sky,
but
the clouds.
Of course, but meaning the connection is that color you'll find between the sandy beach and the deep ocean. That's where you'll find that color. So it's that connection between the land and the depth of the ocean. So that color is very, unique in that way.
Right.
And then the peach color, you can see, like, it's all here, the right? This and these two. The peach color is the color of, the contrasting color, all the flowers, and the beauty, and all the fire.
Right.
We got because you've seen me after swimming for 7 hours and 6 hours and another 6 hours. I keep swimming. I mean, at the end of the day, the girl wants some fire, so that we light up the fire to heat up. So that's where that comes. So these two are balancing colors. They balance each other out. That's also, so you can see how the whole event was structured, where from ABONO to ANKAASE it was this, and then back from ANKAASE to ABONO it was the
Onkomra pa no bi hunu se bibi wo baabi kote bu so to medical myself Opa de efenti ani nyina ye hwewo o srawo odi nsuo no ma otumfo odi ma ni hini anakora dwuma no efe ni fe no anso de de ye pa cho se nwi bio ni wodre die ye pensa wo ma ya sate se ye dos enei ye obedro no ye die nua se de nya na so boko abeko na mo ne de ye sro se nkopio.
Okay, going through my comment sections of my TikTok, many people were wondering why you have that symbol of a snake behind you.
Yes, snake is a very so it's a primordial symbol of one of the most primordial principles of our life on earth as human race, as human beings, and not just human beings, but of every being on earth. So let me explain. Basically, if you think about, well, first let's talk about our planet Earth. So our planet Earth has electromagnetic field that runs from South Pole to North Pole, you know, and then it goes around like this. So that's our electromagnetic field of planet Earth. And what it does, its purpose is, well, without it, we would be bombarded by celestial dust and our atmosphere would have been destroyed and we would not be able to breathe and there would be no life on Earth. So simply electromagnetic field of Earth actually what provides life on Earth.
Okay.
So we're talking about the essence of life now. In our physical body, we also have electromagnetic field. You know, it's like what's macro is what's micro, you know, it's that expression. So it's like a fractal repeating itself. So we have the same electromagnetic field that runs from the base of our spine up the spine to the top of the head and it goes around like this. By the way, this is science now. At this point, this has been scientifically observed, and, you know. So snake represents this energy.
Snake?
Yes. So it's kind of like so there's these channels that run through the spine, you know, up to the top of the head. That's why you see that symbol of medicine. Have you seen the symbol of medicine? It's the two snake around the
like
stem. Yes. And at the top it goes wings, two sides. So that's that. The staff is the spine.
Okay.
The snakes is the electromagnetic energy moving.
Okay.
And the wings, it's how it's spreading out and circulating itself. So that symbol is, well, the tattoo.
It's not a real tattoo. It's part of the costume, right?
It's exactly what's in the tattoo that you see in my back. It's the snake, the staff. You know, you see all of that there. So when people ask, well, there's an explanation. So this is basically a symbol of primordial life force energy on an earth plane that provides life to us here.
Let's talk about what you have on your head, the crown. Why this design?
the official coronation happened. Last interview I didn't have it.
Nah.
Look at how I do. Thank you, Hammer. Well, thank you, darlings, and thank you, my, Giza clothing brand. We created this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you select these particular?
The seashells.
The seashell.
Yeah. So the crown is made from seashells, and you've probably seen the flyer many times.
Yeah.
The seashell. I'm holding the seashell in my hand. So a seashell and a feather has been the two official symbols of this freedom swim. And so we already talked about the feather, my connection, with birds and my owls that I raised.
Yeah.
And, by the way, at Lake Bosomtwe, one of the most prevalent birds is raven. It's just like a crow, between a crow and a raven.
Okay.
It has a black and white collar.
Okay.
So the black collar is, again, it's the two opposites coming together in one. And by the way, in Ghanaian culture, When black represents mourning, the grief. When somebody comes out with the black handkerchief, it represents their mourning. But if somebody comes out with the white one, that means they're innocent of whatever that, perhaps judgment that was placed. So the white represents innocence and clearing of that energy. So interesting, that bird that's big in the Bosomtwe, they're everywhere there. Okay. When I'm sleeping at Paradise Resort, I wake up in the morning to these ravens singing songs. Okay. So it's this mix of seemingly two opposite colors, two opposite elements in one, and finding balance between them. So I've been communicating with the birds there. So and many other birds. So it's not just one bird or two birds, but just in general, birds. I communicate with birds a lot. They have messages that are very important for us, like many other animals. But it's just I have strong connection with birds, and also represents freedom. That's why it was called Freedom Swim. So feather represents the freedom, and swim is the now we're coming back to the seashell. Okay. So there's different types of seashells. All of them live in it's aquatic life. They all live in the water. So if you think of let's say seashell from a lake, it's a seashell has there's two parts in it. It's the shell on the outside that's very strong and it protects, but on the inside it protects what? Vulnerability. Okay. Because without the seashell, how do you say in tree? The animal that
flesh. Is it the animal itself?
Yeah,
inside it?
Yeah. In my language, it's called ulitka. Ulitka, but in tree, the one that goes very slow.
Snail.
But in tree, how do you say? Onwa. Yeah.
Snail.
Yeah. So it's very vulnerable. It's very soft. Yeah, it can be just smushed like this, killed, done. Yeah. That's why it has the shell to protect the vulnerability. So, this is a big symbol, and it reminds us that, our heart is a very vulnerable place. Our heart beats every second, on and on and on. If it stops beating, we're gone. So we got to take care of our heart, but we're also going to make our heart strong. And then the shell, we have to be careful with that energy of the shell, because there's two ways of looking at it. Shell could either become, those people that close themselves and they close their heart in the shell and they become cold, rigid, and no longer connect, because at some point of time they were hurt. And when they were hurt, they think, oh, I don't want to get hurt again, so I'm going to cover up in this massive shell and I will never open up. Okay. But that's really not the message. That wasn't the original message. The original message is make your heart strong. And no matter what happens externally, keep your heart open. But the shell shouldn't be that anger, that grief, that shame, or that guilt, or whatever those negative. The shell is actually an energetic shell. It's the shell where you're so pure and you're so centered in your power, in knowing the truth. That becomes your shell. Okay. Your truth becomes your shell.
Now,
wait. Okay. And now I want to talk about something else, which is now we're going even deeper. Because I'm not just on the lake, I'm also on the ocean. I've been, so some of these are from the ocean. Yeah. So the one big symbol in the ocean is the mollusk that grows pearls. The oyster.
Okay.
So this is a really big thing that I want to talk about. Yeah. So in human race, we have this peregrine pearl, which is 11 million United States dollars. It's this, you know, the price of the pearl, which was created by the oyster in the water. That's how highly human praise the value of that. So the way oyster creates the pearl is an external, something external comes inside, and oyster identifies that it's an external matter, and then it starts to slowly create its own matter around it, covering it up gradually, and then it grows into a beautiful pearl.
Okay.
So what that's about is basically it's a very deep concept of gratitude and love. So this is what I always strive to do in my life. The external part that comes inside the oyster is a judgment. Now, what do we do when there's judgment? Do we start to judge it more? So, you know, so it's called, in the oyster part, human called it parasite. Like parasite comes inside, and then pearl saves its life by isolating the parasite and creating a pearl. But parasite in the beginning is a judgment. So there was some sort of judgment on something. So when I see judgment, when I experience judgment, what I strive to do is, instead of judging it more, but to surround the judgment with gratitude and deep love. And you know, this is the type of love that can only be found at the depth of the ocean, not on the surface of the ocean, not where the waves are, but at the very depth. Is the kind of love that you feel in your heart that's consistent, stable, reliable. It's always there. It's calm, it's deep, and it liberates from all fear and all judgment. So that's the type of love that we want to use to surround the experience of judgment, like a pearl surrounds it with the matter. To surround that judgment with gratitude and that love. And over time, look what happens. When you surround it with that love, all of a sudden, it transforms itself into this beautiful, beautiful pearl. And you look at it, you can't even recognize that originally it was called a parasite, that it was called something negative.
Okay.
And now it's so beautiful that, and all that love that was put around it, and all of that gratitude is now worth, it's now so valuable, that highly sought after, and we put it on ourselves, and we, you know, we praise the pearls now, praise that beauty that was created there. So this, it's a very deep concept.
Okay.
So that's why I have this deep connection with seashells and, you know, all of that, because these are very interesting things, and I learn from them, is what I want to say. Like, I observe and then I learn, oh, how I can be a better person like this way. How the oyster takes something negative and turns it into beauty and value. How do we do that in our life? How can we take something that's originally was called negative or judgment, and over time, with love and gratitude, turn it into something beautiful that then turns into value?
Beautiful. Let's talk about the journey.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing right now for a moment, because we go so deep with you and I. We go so deep, like deep ocean into the depth.
During the ceremony, when they were pouring libation, when you are doing the yoga, right? Energy master thing.
Yeah, just the physical movement to release,
Yes.
you know, the body.
I felt something within the atmosphere.
What did you
Some
feel?
fragrance.
Huh.
Stayed there for a while.
Wow.
I don't know if other people experience it, but I was smelling something. Meanwhile, there was no incense, there was no perfume around. But what were you doing?
Well, so the way I could explain this right now is that, you know, perhaps you experienced it as fragrance, maybe somebody experienced it as, you know, some feeling inside them. Somebody maybe experienced it as some sound. So these are human senses, right? We have sense of smell, touch, taste, sound, vision, and in a sense, like a sensation inside. All of these are the way we perceive the world around us. I mean, as simple as that. Right now, when you look at me, you see the vision side, the colors, the shapes. Then you can also feel the air in the room around. You maybe smell, you know, the incense in the room, whatever. So these are senses. Without them, do you even know what should be? I mean, think about it. If you had no, what would you be if you had no senses?
Not a human.
You wouldn't even be a human.
Yeah.
You'd just be like nothing, like blank.
Yeah.
So for some reason, during that ceremony, your sense of smell got activated, and you could now all of a sudden perceive something that you weren't able to perceive before. So that means that energetically there was some shift within you that had occurred that opened up that part.